don't find me appealing. You don't find me attractive. You don't want me anymore. You don't even like me. You are miserable. She lights your fire. She makes you feel young. You're excited. It's all fresh. You're getting to know each other, and you are in love with her.
On April 23, 2018, Janir Gerardot texted her husband Mark Gerardot, "You ruined my life. I hope you never find happiness." Janir then rented a car, grabbed a handgun, and drove to a home in Villanova, Pennsylvania. She arrived at Meredith Chapman's new house. She broke in and waited for her in silence. When Meredith arrived, Janir shot her, killing her, and then turned the gun on herself. Mark Gerardot and Janir Cox's love story was one that began in the 80s and unfolded with a certain serendipity. Mark, a young and impressionable 18-year-old, had his first encounter with Janir at a Taco Bell. The moment he laid eyes on her, he was struck by her undeniable beauty. It wasn't until several years later, after life's twists and turns, that their paths crossed once more. Mark and Janir went on a date that would shape their future, despite what some considered an improbable match. Janir, known for her popularity and independent, outspoken nature, seemed to be from a different world compared to the smart yet shy Mark. Those who knew the couple well often remarked that they were the embodiment of opposites. In October of 1993, their love culminated in a grand and picturesque wedding celebration. As the years passed, the couple contemplated the idea of expanding their family, only to opt for a different kind of companionship, four-legged friends in place of children. Janir was passionate about saving animals and made sure to adopt rescue animals, talking to this on her Facebook page and spreading awareness about public issues she believed in and how to help and be kind to others as well as animals. In the turbulent year of 2008, as the economy plummeted, Mark and Janir found themselves at odds, locked in heated arguments over their increasingly precarious financial situation. Both deeply committed to their respective careers, Mark revelled in the satisfaction of his job, while Janir was burdened by the loss of her employment due to the economic downturn. The mounting stress became a constant companion, igniting more frequent disagreements within the household. Then, in 2017, a pivotal moment emerged when Mark was presented with a job opportunity at Delaware University, a prospect that he hadn't initially discussed with Janir. It was through his initial conversations with a woman named Meredith Chapman that the prospect of a new job began to take shape. Meredith, 15 years Mark's junior, initially raised questions about the age gap and the dynamics of working for someone younger, yet all reservations vanished as Mark and Meredith met in person. Her compelling achievements and the warmth with which she presented herself captivated him during the interview. By the end of their conversation, Mark's perception of Meredith had shifted as he found himself pondering a different kind of relationship with his potential boss. Despite his earlier reservations about starting a new chapter in his life, Mark found himself irresistibly drawn to Meredith. He couldn't help but marvel at her success, maturity, and engaging personality. Mark's description of her to Janir was nothing short of glowing, and it was clear that he was deeply impressed by her. Chapman was a former candidate for Delaware State Senate, the wife of a former city councilman, a former television reporter, and a respected university marketing professional. After discussing the prospect of relocating to Delaware with Janir, the couple embarked on a new journey, leaving their South Carolina home behind. Janir had plans to put their house up for rent and stayed behind for a while after Mark's departure. However, Mark's world was about to take an unexpected turn. Mark received an intriguing job offer from a workplace in Colorado, prompting him to travel there and explore the opportunity. Yet when he arrived at the airport, he had a change of heart. His growing feelings for Meredith had reached a point where he could no longer deny them. Instead of pursuing the new job, Mark chose to remain in Delaware, seeking to deepen his connection with Meredith. Their relationship blossomed as they spent time outside the workplace, growing closer each day. With Meredith, Mark felt an openness and honesty he had never experienced before. Mark Gerardot attempted to elucidate the reasons behind his extramarital affair. He recounted the pivotal moment when Meredith entered his life, sharing a narrative that diverged drastically from what he had heard from Janir. He expressed, "Here comes Meredith. She's just telling me such a different story, that I'm good at what I do, that she said, I'd never heard this from Janir's lips ever, that I'm such a wonderful man." Mark acknowledged the profound impact of this revelation, where a woman he deeply admired acknowledged his positive qualities, fostering a connection that left an indelible impression on him. He candidly revealed the complexities of his marriage, and Meredith too shared her own secret, a marriage to a man named Luke. The guilt they felt was undeniable, but their connection only deepened in the weeks that followed. In the winter of 2018, Janir put the finishing touches on their South Carolina home and made her way to Delaware, where she intended to start a new life with Mark. But from the moment she set foot in Delaware, a palpable unease settled over her. Mark, her husband of many years, was no longer the man she recognized. He had become distant, his actions and words at odds with the person she had known for so long. It didn't take Janir long to piece together the unsettling truth. There was another woman in Mark's life. The confrontation was inevitable, and Janir didn't hold back. She posed the question that had been haunting her, clear and direct. Is it Meredith? Mark's response, though seemingly reassuring, did little to quell the storm brewing inside Janir. While she outwardly accepted his explanation that Meredith was merely a work partner and friend, deep down she harboured the painful awareness of the affair, setting the stage for an intricate and tumultuous chapter in their relationship. In the aftermath of her unsettling discoveries, Janir's determination to uncover the truth only intensified. She embarked on a mission to collect irrefutable evidence, recording all of Mark's conversations over the phone, listening intently to every word exchanged. The trove of recordings served as conclusive proof of an affair that had taken root in their relationship. On Valentine's Day, Janir chose to confront Mark with her findings. With a heavy heart, she admitted to Mark that she had enlisted the services of a company to intercept his phone calls and messages. It was a moment of reckoning. Mark, for his part, decided to unburden himself. He revealed that Meredith was not merely an affair, but an object of his affection. To Janir's surprise, Mark chose honesty in the face of their unravelling marriage, as he admitted to being in love with Meredith. This revelation marked a turning point in their tumultuous journey. For Mark, the prospect of divorce was a price he was willing to pay to be with Meredith, and their future hung in the balance. To address their crumbling relationship, they agreed to embark on marriage counselling, though not without further turmoil, as Mark discovered the extent of Janir's surveillance, leading to a bitter confrontation. Amid the clash of emotions, Janir unveiled another layer of her efforts, confessing that she had reached out to the Delaware University and disclosed Meredith's personal details, including her husband's name and their address. The path ahead was unclear, but in a fragile compromise, they pressed on with their counselling sessions, and Janir pledged to cease her intrusive recordings, even as Mark grappled with the turmoil of his own conflicted heart. After these revelations, the couple mutually resolved to seek marriage counselling. Nonetheless, on the day of their second session, Mark Gerardot, donning his jacket, was suddenly seized by a disconcerting sensation within the pocket's lining. He checked the fabric, revealing a concealed recording device that had been surreptitiously stitched into its folds. The intermittent, ominous flicker of its recording light. In Mark Gerardot's own words, Janir expressed a desire to fathom the depths of Meredith and my relationship. She exhibited an unwavering conviction that a hidden agenda between Meredith and me was afoot, and she was resolute in her pursuit of this elusive plan. Under the scrutinizing lens of counselling, an accord was struck, stipulating the abandonment of any further surreptitious recording devices. Mark decided to move forward with the divorce. Meanwhile, Meredith and her spouse navigated the turbulent waters of their own divorce, and Meredith, in a pivotal juncture, secured a new role at Villanova University, nestled in the affluent expanse of suburban Philadelphia's main line. Her relocation to a fresh abode nearby marked the commencement of a transformative chapter. Janir Gerardot embarked on a journey of self-discovery, seeking guidance from a divorce coach. In the weeks that followed, Mark, despite the peculiar circumstances, gave in to his wife's unorthodox requests, which included nature walks and shared meals. Mark reflected, It was an unconventional path, but I endeavoured to set her on a course toward contentment. If this was the remedy she sought, then it was one I was committed to provide. But Janir had continued her efforts to uncover the full extent of Meredith and her husband's relationship. She hid a GPS tracking device in the steering of his car. She also installed software on his phone that cloned it and exposed his calls and text messages. Daily, she meticulously extracted and reinserted the concealed recording device, diligently downloading its contents, Mark Gerardot disclosed. This continued for several weeks, during which she transcribed every spoken word into a total of 12 notebooks. Mark Gerardot says he also found over 400 images of private conversations between him and Chapman from Snapchat. In addition to her covert activities, Janir Gerardot took clandestine measures to maintain her surveillance operations. Following Mark Gerardot's admission of the affair, she swiftly opened a secret bank account and obtained undisclosed credit cards. These financial tools were strategically employed to procure an array of surveillance equipment. Credit card statements further revealed transactions involving a lockpicking kit, suggesting her secret entry into his office, as well as purchases of computer hacking software, DNA testing materials for his clothing, and the installation of a sophisticated GPS tracking system on both his and Chapman's vehicles. Mark Gerardot recounted the GPS mapping displayed two distinct icons, one representing my vehicle, labelled Lying Jerk, and the other representing Meredith's car, unflatteringly dubbed Whore. Janir confessed to her counsellor that she was scared about many things. First, she was angry that her husband was ditching her for a younger woman. She also had fears about her finances if she got a divorce, that it was too much a burden to carry, and she didn't know how to deal with it. Mark suggested that she see a psychiatrist and seek support from family and friends. Days before the shooting, Mark felt a load in his chest, but didn't know why. He sensed that something was wrong. Unknown to him, Janir Gerardot purchased a handgun on March 20th, 2018, and had been taking lessons on how to use it. She practiced shooting the gun 3 times at a firing range. Meredith was looking forward to her future. On the day of the tragic event, Meredith pauses outside her new workplace at Villanova University, capturing the moment in a selfie shared on Instagram. Her post conveys contentment with her fresh start. Meanwhile, Mark, scheduled to meet Janir to discuss their impending divorce, waits for her at a restaurant. However, instead of her arrival, he receives a text from Janir, citing a wrong turn and a brief delay. Minutes later, another message arrives, this time bearing news that she will not be able to make it. Janir then sent an image to Mark in her message, revealing trash strewn on the street, upon which a used condom lies. Mark's realization dawns that it's a condom he used, concluding that Janir must be rummaging through Meredith's discarded items at Meredith's home. Mark, struck by the gravity of the situation, started to contact Meredith, but got no response. Janir's subsequent messages are fraught with resentment, expressing her belief that Mark has ruined her life, stating she hopes that he never finds happiness, and concluding with a bye mark. Growing increasingly concerned by Meredith's unresponsiveness to his texts, Mark rushes to her residence, parking in her driveway. Upon encircling the house, he peers through the kitchen window, discovering Meredith lying motionless on the floor, a trace of blood on her calf. Panic sets in as he discerns her lack of movement. A neighbour intervenes, alarmed by Mark's distress, and joins the investigation, only to stumble upon another lifeless body in the living room, Janir's. Janir's chilling actions unfolded in a meticulously planned sequence. She infiltrated Meredith's home, rummaging through their trash in a sinister prelude. Concealing herself within Meredith's residence, she lay in wait for Meredith's return, a tragic ending that culminated in her fatal shooting of Meredith and then herself. The news of this murder-suicide quickly caught the attention of the media and an outraged public, who cast blame upon Mark for his role in the unfolding tragedy. The finger of responsibility also pointed at Meredith, as her connection with a married man stirred anger. Neighbours attested to seeing Janir around Meredith's house on multiple occasions, adopting various disguises such as wigs, trench coats and glasses to surreptitiously survey the area. Subsequent investigation uncovered a string of chilling premeditation. Janir had rented a car the week before the crime, later positioning it in front of Meredith's residence, equipped with an array of surveillance devices and lethal weapons. The exact nature of her intent regarding her own life, whether premeditated or impulsive, remains shrouded in uncertainty. Evidently, Janir had prepared an escape plan, with a wig and disguise stowed in her vehicle, hinting at a design to leave the state, had she survived the gruesome event. Mark stated for an extended period, Janir grappled with the heavy burden of depression, compounded by a recent diagnosis of PTSD brought on by the harrowing dissolution of our marriage. Yet, there existed an additional layer, a hidden facet that eluded the discerning eyes of her psychologist, our marriage therapist, and her clinical psychiatrist. The collective failure to detect these unmistakable warning signs remains a haunting oversight. Gerardot unveiled a chilling revelation concerning his wife. She had left behind a daunting 15-page letter, a document that ominously detailed how she would have taken his life as well, had he inadvertently walked in on the heinous crime. While the contents of the letter remained undisclosed, the opportunity to scrutinize it was granted to Dr. Judith Joseph, a psychiatrist hailing from New York, during Mark's interview on the Dr. Oz show. Dr. Joseph's assessment was unequivocal. It strongly suggested that Janir Gerardot suffered from borderline personality disorder, a mental health affliction characterized by profound instability in mood, behavior, and relationships. As Dr. Joseph expounded, the letter exhibited the presence of all 9 criteria typically used to diagnose this disorder, a rare and compelling manifestation indicative of severe borderline personality disorder. Mark Gerardot, in addition to his appearance on the Dr. Oz show, shared his story with prominent news outlets, including a feature on ABC's 2020 in its September 6, 2019 episode. He revealed that he's channeling his experiences into a book, an ongoing endeavour to grapple with the profound losses he has endured. Departing from his previous role at the University of Delaware, his LinkedIn profile now identifies him as a creative director for AM Resorts in the San Diego area. In this capacity, he leads a team responsible for crafting result-oriented marketing campaigns, promoting over 50 luxury resorts across the Caribbean, Mexico, and Europe. On his Facebook page, he mentions his status as widowed and shares snapshots of his life, from wine country excursions to moments with his loyal canine companion. His website is dedicated to his book, Irreparable, in which he explores the deep questions that have plagued him since the tragedy occurred. Mark's blog delves into his journey of healing, describing how he decided to start afresh by letting go of virtually everything he owned, packing his essentials into his car, and driving away from his once familiar life. Despite facing homelessness for the first time, he clung to hope as he embarked on this profound transformation. In the wake of the tragic murder-suicide, Mark Gerardot found himself in the throes of profound emotional turmoil. Seeking solace and understanding, he embarked on a journey of travel, which led to moments of intense personal crisis, such as a vivid memory of an emotional breakdown in Barcelona, during which he sought refuge in the numbing embrace of alcohol, and woke up on a distant Costa Rican beach. Throughout his healing process, Mark turned to writing as a therapeutic outlet, using it to navigate the turbulent waters of his grief. He steadfastly rejects claims that his writing endeavours are motivated by a quest for fame or fortune. On his blog, he clarifies, "I'm speaking and writing now because I have something important to share, the truth, and what I've come to learn about my late wife, about depression, PTSD, and mental health, including my own." Mark commits to a noble cause, stating that any royalties from his book will be channeled to a charitable organisation dedicated to the vital mission of suicide prevention. Mark's situation has undoubtedly generated strong and varied opinions among people. Some may question the authenticity of his advocacy efforts, perceiving them to assuage guilt or seek remorse from others. Such a complex and sensitive matter can elicit a range of reactions and perspectives. It's essential to recognise that perceptions of Mark's actions and intentions may differ widely among individuals, reflecting the intricacies of human emotions and judgments in the face of a tragic and challenging situation. Deception, jealousy, and unchecked emotions led to a horrifying climax that no one could have foreseen. As we reflect on the heartbreaking conclusion of this story, It's a stark reminder that love and fear can sometimes push people to the brink of darkness. Lives were lost, families shattered, and the scars left behind will never fully heal. It's a testament to the complexities of the human heart and the profound impact it can have on the world around us. Our thoughts go out to all involved,